So, breaking, Senator Dianne Feinstein has passed away at 90. First of all, thoughts and prayers go to her family and friends. I'm sorry for your loss. I hope she was able to find Christ during her life. Let's go ahead and check this one out here from the New York Post. Everyone's got an article today. I just picked the New York Post as the one to read first, right? So let's check it out. Senator Dianne Feinstein, the trailblazing California Democrat who broke gender barriers throughout her 5 decades in politics, died Thursday night in her Washington, D.C. home following a number of health scares. She was 90. James Sauls, Feinstein's chief of staff, confirmed her death in a mid-morning statement saying, "Her passing is a great loss for so many, from those who loved and cared for her to the people of California that she dedicated her life to serving. There are few women who can be called senator, chairman, mayor, wife, mom, and grandmother. Senator Feinstein was a force of nature who made an incredible impact in our country. In her home state, she left a legacy that is undeniable and extraordinary. She has a life of being a political leader." The California Democrat was the oldest member of the Senate and had announced plans to retire at the end of her term. Her death was first reported by ABC 7 Insider. NBC News also reported her death, citing 2 sources familiar with the matter. Feinstein cast her last vote in the Senate late Thursday morning. The cause of her death has not yet been confirmed, but, maybe it's just safe to say old age, right? She has faced calls for her resignation in recent years over concerns about her health. In August, the long-serving senator was rushed to a hospital after tripping and falling in her hometown of San Francisco, her office announced at the time. Senator Feinstein briefly went to the hospital yesterday afternoon in a precaution after a minor fall in her home. All the scans were clear and she returned home, a spokesperson told the Post. Feinstein had earlier missed out for 3 months in the Senate following a battle with shingles. During her absence, the senator missed dozens of key votes and was blamed by some progressives for slowing the progress of President Biden's controversial picks for federal judgeship through the Senate Judiciary Committee. But the fact is, like it says here in this Daily Wire article, Feinstein represented California in the Senate since 1992. That's 31 years. 31 years in the same position. She returned to the Senate in May, being wheeled into the Capitol with one eye nearly closed. A few days later, she suggested to reporters that she had not been absent. "I haven't been gone," she said, according to the Los Angeles Times. When asked whether she meant she had been working from home, Feinstein said, "No, I've been here. I've been voting." So it seems like she didn't have her wits completely there at the end, but yet she was still allowed to serve in the Senate. It seems like it's becoming a trend in our Senate. So it seems to me that maybe that no child left behind principle that's supposed to be for our schools that was trash back in the day. I don't even know if they still have that around, but it seems like that has seeped into our Senate, where not only will they not remove people that are inadequate and on par with the rest of the group, they'll actually slow the rest of the group down to the pace of that person so that that person can just continue on whatever they're doing, right? Screw the rest of the class, screw the rest of the country. We don't want to hurt this person's feelings. So, because that's what's most important, right? I'm being facetious, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, I would like to see healthy and strong people representing our country at all levels. You're not fit to be a leader to say, follow me, do as I do because I know better, right? I lead by example, but yet I can't run a mile without having a heart attack. You know what I mean? Yet I can't go eat a steak because my teeth might fall out. This doesn't send signals of strength to our allies or our enemies abroad, right? When Joe Biden falls down regularly, when he lies, goes on a rant lying about something that everybody knows is fake, that makes us look weak. That makes the country look weak. Yes, we had Trump for 4 years in between, but that was on the heels of Obama going around and apologizing to every single country for the history of America. Like it wasn't our history that got us to the power, the position of strength and power that we had. Have? I don't know. It's not as strong as it used to be, I feel. But maybe it's just because I know more now than I knew then. And it's always been the same. Probably that's the case, honestly. But moving forward, I think it'd be a smart move to actually get term limits in for these senators. You know, it's supposed to be a position of service, not a career. And when these folks are allowed to make careers of it, they enrich themselves and their families. They become corrupted by the outside sources that are constantly bombarding them. And when they have time to maneuver and manipulate, it's inevitable that they do. They're only human, right? And so that's why it would be important for a turnover of every 4 years or 8 years or whatever deemed, best. So companies, lobbyists, whomever that might be doing shady deals with leaders wouldn't be so forthcoming with their bribes and offers, knowing that that person is going to be out in 4 years no matter what, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but it just seems to me like if you're trying to get, something built in your town or a law passed to help your little company or your big company or whatever, you'd be more inclined to pay this person who you know is going to be in this position for the next decade than you would be to pay this person that's only going to be there for 4 years, right? You might offer less or might not make the offer at all. I don't know, but it just seems on the surface that a healthier solution to a less corrupt government would be term limits. Just a simple thing that could be done. When she announced her plans to retire from office in February, Biden praised his former colleague, calling her a passionate defender of civil liberties and a strong voice of national security policies that kept us safe while honoring our values. Senators than just about anyone, he said in a statement at that time. I can honestly say that Dianne Feinstein is one of the very best. Well, in my opinion, if you got Biden singing your praises, then you might need to have a background check done on you, to say the least, knowing seeing the pile of evidence that Biden is facing right now. Evidence, not proof. I would reserve my judgment until it is seen by, a jury or whatever. But, we got a stack of evidence there, and I wish it would be addressed by our leaders. She started out as the first female president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, then went on to become the first female mayor of San Francisco following the murder of Mayor George Moscone and fellow supervisor Harvey Milk. Feinstein said she had heard the gunshots and saw the gunman leaving the supervisor's office. He whisked in, everybody disappeared, she recounted to CNN in 2017. I walked down the line of supervisors' offices. I walked into one and found Harvey Milk, put my finger in a bullet hole trying to get a pulse. It was the first person I'd ever seen shot to death. Is that normal? I don't know if I'd do that, but... Feinstein made a name for herself in Congress as a vocal advocate for gun control, consistently pushing for more restrictive measures since the assault weapons ban expired in 2004, and led a multi-year review of the CIA's detention and interrogation measures in the aftermath of 9/11 as the chairwoman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. They're lifting her up for fighting against our constitutional rights. Why would anybody praise a person for trying to take away our gun rights? Don't they understand where security actually comes from? So she was a vocal advocate for taking away your gun rights. So she's totally against our Constitution then. She doesn't like individuals to be able to protect themselves. Well, that's not very freedom-loving. That's very unconstitutional for a leader elected in the Senate in Congress, the Constitution, where it says shall not be infringed. That tells me that this person is inadequate, can't read, or wanted to destroy America's strength and independence from other countries. It found that the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques did not lead to the collection of critical intelligence. The investigation ultimately prompted Congress to pass legislation banning the use of torture. I don't know. I'll let the experts decide that one, I guess. Feinstein also butted heads with some of the more liberal members of her party as she tried to find common grounds with Republicans. Well, I don't know. Do you have any... Okay, well, let's see if they have any examples. She parted ways with the liberal Democrats in a number of issues, including opposing the idea of single-payer, government-run health care and speaking out against the new Green Deal. When she hugged Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation hearings in October 2020, Feinstein faced a number of calls to step down as the ranking member of the panel. They're trying to keep Trump from appointing Supreme Court justices, right? They're basically opposing him at everything that he did, every breath that he took. She ultimately caved in and announced plans to step down in November 2020, saying she planned to focus her efforts on combating climate change and coronavirus pandemic, Politico reported. Democratic reps Katie Porter, Adam Schiff, Barbara Lee are now running for Feinstein's seat. Following the news of her passing Friday, the Democrat was remembered for her decades of service. She was one of the most effective legislators in recent memory because of her willingness to work across the aisle in good faith in order to solve complex problems. It was an honor to serve with her. You know, if that was true, maybe that's because she's part of the old guard. Definitely not what's going on nowadays, it seems like, working across the aisle. But you know what? Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. This one's gone a little longer than I expected, and I really just wanted to get the story out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please kindly hit that like button. Also consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.